Hello, fourth grade. You made it to Wednesday. I am so glad that you are here. I hope you woke up just like this morning. Let's jump in. All right, so we have been talking about figurative language. We're going to run through some of these gestures. If you have not seen our Monday video, hit pause right now and go back and find the Monday video so that you can review all this vocabulary with us. Let's talk about a simile. Let's do the gesture. Ready? Simile compares two things, use like or as. Good job. Metaphor. Metaphor compares two things, does not use like or as. Hyperbole. Remember what to do with your arms? Hyperbole. Exaggeration. My backpack weighs a ton. Good job. Alliteration. Alliteration. Tongue twisters. Same beginning sounds. Let's see, we also had onomatopoeia. Are you ready? Onomatopoeia, bang, pow, zip, sound words. Good job. Let's see, we've done simile, metaphor, alliteration, onomatopoeia, hyperbole. I feel like I might be missing one. Can you think of any more? Personification. There it is. Okay, so remember, personification has the word person in it. So the gesture is objects doing people things. The tree waved. Excellent job. I hope you had a chance to read Owl Moon yesterday. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and go to the Tuesday video and watch Owl Moon. It's a great book that has a lot of figurative language in it. And don't forget to send me the examples of figurative language. You can text it to me or you can do it on ClassKick. Today, your assignment for figurative language is to go to our YouTube channel and I'll show you how to get there. Okay, so when I get to YouTube, I'm going to type in Stanley Hupfeld Academy OKC would help. And then I'm going to go here. Here's the eagle. So I'm going to click on that. And then up at the top, it should say playlists. If you're on a phone, it might look a little bit different, but you're going to either click library or playlists. When I click playlists, I can see all of the different grade levels. So I'm going to click on fourth grade. And I'm going to, one of the videos is going to start playing. The top video will always start playing, but I can go over here to the left, or on a phone, I can just scroll through and I can go and I can find these that we're going to look at today. So the one that I want you to look at today is called Literary Devices in Pop Culture. Or you can go down to this one that says simile, metaphor, hyperbole, personification, onomatopoeia, and idioms in popular songs. So I want you to go watch those videos and find examples of these figurative language in songs and movies that you've probably heard before. Once you've done that, I want you to see if you can find any new examples from songs that you listen to or movies that you've seen, and let me know what those are. Okay, so that's your assignment for reading today. I want you to go read Owl Moon if you haven't already. And if you have, then you can go over to our fourth grade channel and find either the literary devices in pop culture video or the simile, metaphor, hyperbole, and all of that in popular songs. And then I want you to see if you can find any figurative language maybe around your house today or in a song that you listen to or a movie that you've seen. We are going to move right into math. We have been talking about fractions, and a lot of you did a really great job on your ClassKick with those. Remember, if you can't get into ClassKick, you can always fill out the math on paper and turn it into me through a text or a picture. We are going to move into decimals today because we've also been talking about decimals a lot in fourth grade. So remember, we talked about in class, decimals are all about place value. That's right. So over here on the left with the purple, you can see the place value of this number. So I have my tens place, I have my ones place, and then I have my decimal point. Decimals are a lot like fractions, and then they deal with numbers that are smaller than one. They deal with numbers that are what? So they help us express parts of a whole just like fractions do. So when we look at this number, we can see that this first place is called the tenths place. And you can even see the fraction up here because 1/10 is the same as writing a 1 as the numerator and a 10 on the bottom, or I can have 1/10 is the first place after the decimal point. The next spot is the hundredths place, and then we have the thousandths place. That's right. And we talked about in 4th grade how if we are moving to the left, numbers are getting 10 times bigger. So we've got the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place, the thousands place, the 10,000s place. So after the ones place, when we're moving to the right, we have the ones place, then we have the tenths, then we have the hundredths, then we have the thousandths. Something you could do today for fun is to do our stomp around your house. So remember we did thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, decimal point, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, decimal point. And on the decimal point, we always made it a big deal to clap or to stop. So feel free to do that for practice today. When we're looking at decimal models, which we're going to be doing today, you might see it represented with this top square or the one at the bottom. So that's when we're kind of taking our decimal knowledge and our fraction knowledge and putting them together. We already know that with fractions, the bottom number, the denominator, tells us how many parts in all. And the top number, the numerator, tells me how many parts I'm talking about or how many parts are shaded. So when I'm looking at these boxes, if you were a 3rd grader, you would probably be able to tell me this fraction. You would count all of these columns and find out that there are 10. So that would be the denominator. And then there are 4 that are shaded. So your fraction would be 4/10. In decimals, if I want to write 4/10, a 0 is going to go in the ones place because I don't have a whole. I have smaller than 1. The decimal point, and then a 1 in the tenths place. So that would look like 0, decimal point, 1. This other square with the tiny boxes is cut up into 100 pieces, which means 100 is my denominator. So that's going to be out of hundredths. So over here on the right, remember, it's all about place value. If I'm assuming that one square is a whole, then that means one stick is going to be 1/10 because it would take 10 of those skinny sticks to make up the one whole. The tiny square is going to be equal to 1/100th because it would take 100 of those to fill up the square. And remember, we talked about in class, the 10th is like a dime and the tiny little square is like a penny. So over here you can see how what 1/10 looks like as a decimal. It's that 0 decimal point 1, and 100th looks like 0 decimal point 0 1. Okay, so let's do some practice questions. At any point, 4th grade, if this is getting confusing or you're thinking, oh man, I don't really remember going over that, you can find Khan Academy videos that go over all of this stuff and is really good practice. So feel free to hit pause at any time and go to those videos. You can find them in our 4th grade playlist like I just showed you on our YouTube page. So let's look at this top one first. Okay, so I'm seeing that it's split into tenths and there are 3 shaded in. So it has a 0, a decimal point, and a 3. How would I read that decimal? 3/10. Good job. Okay, so which fraction, A, B, C, or D, matches 3/10? A. That was a pretty easy one. I think the trickster would be if I was counting the white instead of the purple. So make sure that you're paying attention to whether the question is asking for shaded or non-shaded. Let's go to this one right up here in the top right. First of all, are these separated into tenths or hundredths? Hundredths. Good. Okay, so I'm looking at these and I can count them one at a time, or I can count these rows by 10. So I would have 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43. So which one of these decimals would show 43 hundredths? That would be A. So I've got 43 hundredths. I have 4 tens, 4 10 long sticks are colored in, and then I have 3 left over. So it would look like 43A right here. The trickster would probably be C, but I don't have a whole. If I had a whole square colored in and this one, then that would be 1 and 43 hundredths. Let's go to the bottom left. Okay, so what do you notice that's different about this one? Yep, there are 2 squares instead of just 1. So that tells me I'm going to have to add those together. So I'm looking at this. Actually, it says the models above show that 92 hundredths is blank 9 tenths. So I'm so sorry. Give me a you're still cool. We're not adding these together. We're actually comparing them. So if I'm looking at this one, I can see that I have 9 tenths. This one is 92 hundredths, and that one is taking up more space. So it's actually greater. It's also a really great idea to think of money, to think of what when I'm looking at decimals. So if I'm looking at these two amounts, I have 92 cents. This number kind of looks like 9 cents, but I know that when I'm writing money, I would have $0, a decimal point. I'd have 9 dimes, and I'd have 0 pennies. So this would be the same as 90 cents. And 92 cents is greater than 9 cents. So the correct answer would be A. Let's look at this last one together. Oh, that and it got cut off. Give me another. You're still cool. What number does the model show above? First of all, is this cut into hundredths or tenths? Hundredths. Okay, so let's count these together. I'm going to count by tens, but you could always count them individually if you wanted to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tens would be 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. So it would be 87 hundredths. Which decimal below represents 87 hundredths? A, 87 hundredths. You're right. The trickster is probably D, but I don't have a whole. I don't have an entire square to put in my ones place. Great job. Remember, if that's confusing or if you're not sure that you have that on lock, go back to our YouTube channel and watch any Khan Academy videos on decimal models. You can also feel free to send me a text and I am happy to give you some more practice, but Khan Academy is going to be a great video to watch for that. All right, it's time for you to practice that on your own. If that was too easy for you and you feel like, oh yeah, I remember that, I've got that down, then feel free to go to Study Island and I'll show you that in just a minute. I want you to go to ClassKick, type in this code and your name and make sure that you finish the math for today. It's going to be exactly what we worked on, so come back to this video if you need help. You can also go to, oh my goodness, give our computer a you're still cool. It's doing all kinds of things. You can also go over here to Study Island, and there should be an assignment after you log in called Decimals and Distance Learning. So if what we did on the video today was really simple for you and you feel like you want to take it farther, hop on there and do Decimals and Distance Learning. You can also find more practice for decimals on Khan Academy's website, or you can search for the Khan Academy channel on YouTube. Khan Academy is spelled K-H-A-N. All right, that's it for Wednesday. I'm so glad to see all the points pouring in. You are doing an amazing, amazing, amazing job. Miss Mahan's class, Miss Bannister's class is kicking our tails at ClassKick points right now. So make sure that you can hop on ClassKick and fill out some work on there. And don't forget, if you fill out a journal, we are happy to record a voice message back to you. If you can't get ClassKick to work, please call one of us and we can help you get it set up, or you can always do the same work on paper and we will count that for ClassKick points. We love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday.